Hello viewers, welcome to CodeWithSherif interviews. Today with me is an experienced software engineer that is specializing in object-oriented designs and analysis in building backend systems and machine learning models. Um, our visitor today is a Tensor Flow Ibadan Lead, and he has been doing this for quite a while. So that is why he's qualified to be our guest today. So I'm using this opportunity to present Mr. Ibrahim Olagoke to you. Good morning, Mr. Ibrahim.
Good morning, Mr. Sheriff.
Different developers around the nation and around the world. So can you please introduce yourself and tell us how
Okay.
you came into software development?
Okay, so thank you, Mr. Sheriff, and it's nice being here, sharing how I became a software engineer and how it has been so far. So basically, as you said, my name is Ibrahim Olagoke, and I'm a software engineer. So my journey starts several years ago. I've always enjoyed working with technology, building stuff. When you visit our website, then, we have some, and, understanding how it works has always been something that interest. So this led me to, into taking a training. So I went for a training, a software computer engineering training. So thinking I would have the chance um, to learn software development. So I was expecting trying to get into school then. So after some months in the software engineering, so there's a little bit digression. So I started learning web development. So using HTML, CSS, and all that. So after then, I gained the admission and I went to study computer networking and system security, which was totally different from from software development. But the issue this tax, there was nobody to put you on track, and so the question now was like, so where should I start from? Begin learning learning this stuff. So we just I came across someone who actually introduced, in school, we also introduced to some programming languages, C Sharp, C++, even PHP and HTML. So they were given the basic to journey on the software development process.
Thank you very much for that brief introduction. But then we need to understand what was your starting programming language. What programming language did you start your career with? Python, CSS, HTML? Can you tell us some of them?
Okay, so I started learning Java. So I started learning Java. So, but it was not really bringing so much. It was actually fun, but I was not able to build something I can really and it was not really interesting. So that led me into web development. When you build HTML, when you use HTML and CSS, you see what you built, and you understand. So from there, so after learning Java, I understand the process of the paradigm of programming languages in general. After then, I picked up PHP. So I picked up PHP. So I used PHP for a long time, which I still use. So I can say PHP was not really my first programming language, but the first programming language that I used to build products, which I used to build stuff. So I can say PHP as a core language. So after then, I picked up Python. So I actually started Python for a machine learning data science, which I later started using it for web development, also building APIs and backend systems.
Okay, so that means majorly you started with Java programming, and then because you needed to find some sort of maybe either good income or you want to see what you have been doing, and that motivated your choice of moving to web development. And then in your web development, you started with PHP, and over the years, you started to transit from PHP to another programming language like Python, machine learning. But then why didn't you stop at Python at PHP? Why did you decide to move to something else, Python, machine learning?
It was funny because I actually started one of my boss then just called me. So he attended an event in Lagos, AI Saturdays in Lagos, and he came back and said, "Oh, Ibrahim, we have to start this in Ibadan." You know, someone that doesn't have I didn't have any knowledge of machine learning then. He said, "Oh, we have to start this in Ibadan. We have to teach people how to do machine learning." So I had to start picking up machine learning, and then basically the only language you use, the most popular one used for machine learning is Python. So we also use R. So, but we choose the Python. So I started learning Python for machine learning. So after that, I was learning Python to teach people every Saturdays. You understand? So I was learning Python to teach people every Saturdays. But with the help of the general knowledge of programming language, it was very, very easy for me to, to pick based on the OOP process and all that. So it was very, very easy. And the main reason why I switched to Python is basically for machine learning, and that's been a great decision so far. Okay, continue. I can hear you now.
Okay. Are you saying some other programming languages cannot be used for machine learning? That is why you have switched to Python. Can't I use PHP or Java or something else?
Okay, so the main you can use all those languages for machine learning, but the way the process of building machine learning, you can't use PHP as it is for machine learning. The way Python is being designed and how people have been using it so far, it's very easy. The way you train models and you perform data analysis. Python is very good at that. That's why, we just went for Python for some other reason. It's very easy to learn, and it has a great community support.
Okay, so now it seems like we are moving too fast, or we are going to some sort of advanced level. So let's come down to the beginner's level. So when you say you're a developer,
Okay.
you're a coder, does it really mean that you have to code every hour, every day of your life? Do you write code 1, 2, 3, letter by letter? Or is it that you just copy and paste to just build machines or to build system or to build applications? So how do you go about it? Because coding can be very overwhelming. When people see codes, they will be like, wow, am I going to write all of these from my head? Do you have to memorize all of codes? So how do you handle all of this? Because we know that you have built a lot of applications that people are using, web application, you even build mobile apps. So, but how do you go about them? Have you memorized all codes that allowed you to be able to build all of this?
About uh, website or software development in general is very wrong. There are a lot of things that comes before you even start coding at all. The very first thing is that you have to think. You have to think of what you want to build. And after thinking logically, you have to know, okay, this is what I'm going to do. This is what the clauses that they spend much of your time thinking and designing the system than building. And you don't need to cram codes at all. You don't need to cram codes. All you need to do is just understand what each line is doing. You don't have to say, okay, I have to memorize. If you see maybe 2,000 lines of codes, that doesn't mean the person that wrote it off air. No. But when you see a block of code, you should know, okay, this is what this block of code is doing, and you can easily replicate it and also make use of it in another application. So you don't need to cram codes as a software developer. You don't need to cram. All you need to do is just understand the codes and the logic part of and you should also master the programming language you're using. You knowing how to solve this problem is a very great skill. You know how to search for problems, how to Google it out. You know, Google is there for us to use, but most people don't know how to use it, because they don't know how to use it. So knowing how to search for problem when you encounter them makes you, I think, is a great skills which every software developer needs to acquire. Knowing how to solve problem when you encounter them.
Okay, Mr. Ibrahim, uh, now there are so many programming languages out there, a lot of them. But there are even some that we don't even know about. So do I have to know at least 10 programming languages before I can say that I'm a software developer? Or if I just learn one or two programming languages, I can call myself a web developer or programmer?
Okay, so it actually depends on what you want to do, because software industry is very huge, and if you start learning, it's just like a big ocean, big sea. When you jump into it and you don't have focus, you get lost in the middle of it. So you have to have targets. Okay, this is what I want to do. So I want to do web development. I want to do machine learning. I want to do, and even the web development, we have the front end, we have the back end. Okay, this is what I want to do. I want to be a full stack. I want to do front end. I want to do back end. So once you know your target, where you're going, so that will really help you in choosing the stack and the technologies you're going to be using. So you know when you're going for front end, you know that okay, I need to know JavaScript, of course. I need to know JavaScript and other technology frameworks that comes with it. So as a developer, as a software developer or a beginner, you don't stress yourself in trying to learn all the technologies at once. And when you do this, you found out you found out that you are not learning anything. You're not learning anything, because when you hear of the whole thing in general. So once you pick one, so you make sure you learn it to the core. And another thing is you have to pick up a mentor. You need a mentor, because a mentor will be the one to guide you. Okay, this is the next thing to do. This is the next thing to do. Okay, learn this next, do this next. So it won't gives you. But with that, you won't have to start learning a lot with no focus. So you will have a direct learning for your development.
Okay, and when you have a problem in software development, where
Okay.
do you resort to? How do you solve them?
Okay, so in software development, there are different problems you can encounter. It could be while coding or while gathering requirements. So if it's while gathering requirement, of course, where to go to is the authority in that field. Let's assume you're building application for banking operation. So, and you're trying to gather requirement and maybe some processes are not clear. So you go to those people that are the authority in that field, the bank manager, bank finance, in that particular field. So that's the first one, gathering requirements. So if you encounter the problem while coding, so there are different people you can actually approach. So the very first one as a developer is you should be able to try to solve your problem, to solve the problem yourself out, and that's searching for the problem, not searching for the problem externally, searching for the problem in your own code. You need to understand after, when you encounter a problem, it could be a simple error in the problem, and you can check Stack Overflow and other community platform. So, and some of the problem could be about the program language itself. Maybe you're trying to solve a logic problem, and you're not getting how to do that in that programming language. So you go to the documentation of that particular program language and see how you can solve that. And if you're unable to, maybe you're not the type that read documentation or that understand documentation. So you take Stack Overflow. So there are good guys over there which they read the documentation, and they try to summarize it for you in terms of the issue or the problem you're having. So, and if you're still having the issue, maybe you couldn't find the problem or the solution on the internet. Maybe your searching skills is not enough, or probably you don't just you can seek for the solution from maybe a friend or a mentor or a boss or a senior colleague. You're working in an industry, and I find a solution to that problem. But one thing is, you shouldn't get overwhelmed when you encounter an issue. Of course, bugs are always there for developers, so you should expect them. They are always there for you. You should expect them, but should, like I said earlier, checking online, asking friends and colleagues, senior colleagues, and yeah, so you'll be fine after all the whole thing.
Definitely, definitely. In as much as you can express your problem and you have people to ask around, then you can always find solutions to them. Yeah, thank you very, very
Yeah.
much for your time, Mr. Ibrahim. We have learned a lot about software development from you and your experience about how to solve problems, things that needs to be learned to become a software developer. Thank you very much for your time once again. I really hope that you would also attend to us if we need your attention some other time.
No problem. Thanks for having me, and I really appreciate the call. It really means a lot to me. You know, when you receive a call to express your experience and to give out to the community, it's a great pleasure. Thank you very much for that.
Thank you. Have a nice day, Mr. Ibrahim.